Hello. So today I want to talk about transition, and it's transition from children's services to adult services. When should that start? Who's responsible? And everything else like that. Um, it was from a workshop I was doing that this came up. I was doing transitions and we spoke about this. And I thought, well, I haven't actually done this. We have spoken about transitions in one form or another previously, but I don't think we've actually focused on this. So this is what I wanted to do today. So I'm going to share my screen again with yourselves, and hopefully I will get it to work. There we are. Brilliant. So I've just realised, I do apologise, there's a tile out in the ceiling there and it's annoying me, so probably distracting and annoying yourselves. Until I mentioned it, you hadn't seen it, so hey, it's one of these things. Right, responsibility for transition. When a young person with an education, health and care plan transitions from children's to adult services, multi-agencies are responsible for ensuring the process is smooth and well coordinated. So what we're focusing on here is with an EHCP, an educational healthcare plan. So it doesn't, if you haven't got that, this doesn't apply in the same way. Although if you've got an individual education plan, it could more or less be similar, but not as enforceable. So who's responsible? Local authority. The local council is responsible for coordinating the transition process, particularly if the young person has an AHCP. So that's what it's saying. It will happen for all children with on this SEN register, I believe. But if you get an EHCP, this is going to happen, or it should happen. It doesn't in the way it should, but this is what should happen. So the Children's Services team should work closely with adult social services to ensure continuity of care. The education setting. Schools or colleges must contribute to planning for adulthood through the annual review of the Educational Healthcare Plan, particularly from year 9 onwards. So when your child reaches age of 13, 14, this is when we start the transition from children's to adults. I never knew this when I was going through this. No one told us about it. When we got to the stage, it was a little bit too late because we were in no man's land of age 16, still a child as far as adults are concerned. Age 16, yes, as children's service is concerned, you're an adult, and neither of the twain meet until you reach 18 again. So, excuse me. It is really important to know that from year 9, we need to be making sure that the EHCP reviews and everything else talk about the transition into adulthood and how that is going to actually work into adult services. Health services, if the young person receives support from child health services, example CAMS or pediatric care, healthcare professionals must coordinate with adult health services to ensure seamless transition as well. Okay, so again, it depends on what's on your education and healthcare plan or what your child's needs are. But if you've just got a health plan at school and a care plan, this will also apply. And then the family, parents and carers play an essential role in advocating for the children's needs and ensuring all relevant parties are working together. So know that you need the local authority, you need the education setting, you need health services, depending on what your plan is. And make sure you get somebody who is helping you to coordinate all these services together, because doing it yourself can be quite daunting and time consuming. So when can transition start? Well, we've actually mentioned that planning should begin from so year 9, age 13, 14, as part of the Education Healthcare Plan annual review. This ensures sufficient time for all stakeholders to prepare and agree on the necessary support and services for adulthood. Stakeholders just means the local authorities, the health professionals, and everybody else like that. People who actually are going to be involved in the care, so to speak, or making sure that your child gets what they need from moving from children to adults. They're called stakeholders. Okay. So from year nine, focus on preparing for adulthood. This includes identifying aspirations related to education, employment, independence, and health. So we're going to start asking, are you wanting to go into sixth form? Are you wanting to go to college? What is it you want to do? What do you want to be? What do you want to do as a job? What's your hobbies? These sort of things we're going to start talking about and looking at. Okay. Um, The subsequent annual reviews um, will come on from 14, so regular updates. So every year we're going to make sure that the review is correct. Our aspirations, things like that haven't changed. We may have said, yes, in year nine, I want to go to the sixth form, but now I want to go to college. This is the time to change it at the annual review. And ensure that ongoing discussions about potential eligibility for adult care or health services are still applicable, because we may not need certain help when we're that little bit older, or our children may not want it, because we've got to go for what they're looking at as well, not just our own uh, thoughts of what our children are wanting. They're going to have a very big say in this if they're able to. So age 18, responsibility for care usually transitions fully to adult services. By this time, plans for continued education, supported employment, or independent living should be firmly in place. So by the time we're 18, everything should have been transferred over to the adult services. And we should not notice any major changes, because we've been doing it for the last um, well, if we started at 13, been doing it for the last 5 years. So it's really quite um, a long process, keeping on top. And if we do it that way, we know we've got it done right. Um, the problem is you have to mark in your diary or somewhere that that's what you're going to do. Because in my experiences, very few schools, very few um, care support workers on the support workers, I suppose is a word. I know it's not. You'll be screaming at me. Who's looking after us from local authorities for our EHC plan? These people should be coming to us and saying, right, we need to be looking at the transition. What they'll be doing normally is um, looking at the annual review, and they'll talk about, or what do you want to do, but they won't actually necessarily make it clear that we are preparing for the transition into adulthood. And so it'll just be, what is it you want to do in a conversation? And we as parents may miss that this is actually what's happening. And because we're missing that, we won't necessarily involve the health professionals. We won't necessarily involve everybody that's going to be involved in making sure that these transitions are seamless. So when we're doing it, make sure we are talking about transition as well as updating and review for staying on in the next 3 or 4 years at school, or 2 years. That we are doing the EHCP to accommodate that, but we're also looking at getting this transition done properly as well. So ensuring a smooth transition, social care assessment at least 6 months before your child turns 18, the local authority should conduct a Care Act assessment to determine the eligibility for adult social care. So we need to know, is there going to be a need for adult social care? And this is what should be done before our children turn 18. 6 months at least. If you can do it a year before, even better. But again, this is part of the transition process, so make sure we're aware of that. Advocate support. Ensure an advocate is available to help the young person, the family, navigate the system, especially if there is a disagreement or complexities. There's a few advocates out there. Voiceability, to name one. Pact can give you some good advice along the way, and be there to ensure you've got things in place that are necessary or to think about. Um, so again, look at what it is you're wanting for, how complex is the advocacy that you're going to need, and how challenging is it to try and get the transition program in place. If you're finding a lot of difficulties, you may need somebody to come along and help with the advocacy of that. And health transition plan. If the young person uses health services, ensure there is a detailed health transition plan in place as well. So I've put together a transition plan example preparing for adulthood. So within the EHCP, we have the young person's details. This is not a real person, this is fictitious. The primary needs of autism spectrum, moderate learning disability or difficulty, anxiety. They have an EHC plan objective of focus on developing independence, preparing for further education and supporting mental health. So education and employment is current provision attending year 9 at this school with support from academic and life schools, or with support for academic and life schools makes better sense. Future goals, you can see I spelled it wrong here. Enroll a supported college course focusing on vocational training, example, catering or ICT. And explore supported internships by age 17. So again, this is on the EHCP, so we need to be making sure that this is going to happen and that other people are involved to do that. Actions and timeline. So agree a career interview, the school's careers advisor, and that's to be done by the end of year 9. It can be done anytime within year 9, but by the end of year 9, that needs to be done. And then we're going to be visiting local colleges with the SEND department, the SEND support, and the parents in SENCO. So yeah, year 10, we're going to do that, visit the colleges and everything else to make sure that we're happy, we feel safe in there. I don't like that college, it's too busy, it's too noisy, I couldn't go there, I couldn't do this. Find out what all the issues are and what other colleges are available to us. There are quite a few doing different types of courses that will meet our needs. Action to identify and apply for college courses. Again, the SENCO will help with that, and so should the local authority, the caseworker. Okay, so when we're identifying, we've been to the college, and what are your strengths based on what we've been doing at school, based on what we're talking about, what your loves are, we are going to sort of go down this type of course. What do you think? And the SENCO go and talk to the colleges as to what will meet your needs within there. Health, current support, regular appointments with CAMS for anxiety management. So that's going to be put down that that's happening. Pediatrician monitoring and autism related issues. So we've got the diagnosis of autism, and we are going to get maybe an update from the pediatrician as to how that's going to help us or hinder us in adulthood and what we're going to need within there. Future needs. Before going to future needs, 9 times out of 10, I don't know how you've had it, but when we got the diagnosis, that was it. Never saw the pediatrician again. Didn't necessarily have a need to. We did see various people throughout the course of his schooling, etc. But pediatricians, no, that never really. Once we got the diagnosis, thank you very much. So we shall see whether that's still the case. I haven't really asked anybody if there's still good involvement within pediatricians once we've had the diagnosis. I will do that and find out. Maybe we'll have a separate video on that. So apologies for not knowing that. So future needs transitions to adult mental health services and adult GP care. So you're going from CAMS to AMS, I suppose, adult mental health services, opposed to children, adolescent mental health services. So begin referral to the AMS at age 16. Ensure health passport is developed. So if you're under CAMS, they'll help you put this passport together so that you can then take it across with you. And then introduce your children to an adult health professional. So who is it you're going to be seeing when you reach 18? Who's the main contact for your help and services within the care or within the health service? And it might just be the GP. My son's got a good relationship now with his GP. We didn't start off with a good relationship, but that's because we didn't have the transition planning in place. Once we got it there, my son sees if he needs to go to the doctor, he asks for this one doctor and will always see him. and gets a good result. He feels comfortable going and talking to him. If it wasn't him, he would be going, I'd be going with him and talking. So by getting this set up, knowing who they're going to talk to, it makes the world of difference. Social care, current support, weekly sessions with social worker to support family and explore independent skills. So what independent skills are out there, etc. Future goals, determine eligibility for adult social care under the Care Act. Consider supported living options here. So the actions and timelines to conduct Care Act assessment. So we've said that we're going to do that at least 6 months before they're 18. And once you've got that care plan, doesn't matter what comes out of there. If it says this is what this child needs, cost and everything else cannot come into it. That is what that child needs, and that is what has to be delivered, really. Not necessarily going to be easy, but that's what has to be delivered. If it's on there, they should be delivering it. Okay. Explore supported living or day services options. Again, yourselves, if you've got the social worker, then use the social worker to help you with that, or caseworker. But normally it's going to be the social worker in this particular case. What is out there to help you? And there are quite a few adult day services that can be very helpful. Confirm adult social care funding and support plan. So social worker and the local authorities, and I would imagine the caseworker will help you identify these areas as well, because we've not reached 18 yet and we're still within further education, etc. So we'll be doing the caseworker can help within as well as the social worker. The independent living skills, current skills, develop basic cooking, budgeting, and public transport skills in school. Future goals, increase confidence in managing money, using public transport independently, and making personal choices. So the action for that is enroll in life skill workshops. School Senko should help with doing that. In your year 10s and year 11s, there should be workshops that we can get you on to help you cook. And we may have been doing it at school, but we may not like cookery. But the other courses that can enroll in for life skills are not like cooking classes that you would get in school. They will take you through the help and need that you have to do. Watching my children butter a sandwich when they were younger. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how awkward buttering a sandwich could be. It just came naturally to me. But for my children, it just looked awful. The bread would have holes in it and all sorts of things. And it wasn't until recently, to be honest with you, but these are the things that you pick up. It was my wife that just started doing it, buttering a piece of bread with a spoon, the back of a spoon. It's so much easier to butter a piece of bread than it is with a knife. Wow, who knew? Probably all of you. I didn't. And my children butter their bread with a spoon. Yeah, I hadn't realized that it made life so much easier. And my wife went into a cafe to get a sandwich, and the lady behind there was buttering it with a spoon. It's out there. It's not as weird as I thought it was, and maybe all of you are doing it now. But these are sort of things that they look at, things to make life easier for us. And is there, if I can't do it that way, what is there another way I can still get the same outcome? So the life skills workshops are good. It may even do ironing, but ironing's a thing of the past. Does anybody still own an iron? I have a steamer for my clothes. Doesn't do as good a job as an iron, but maybe it doesn't bring out all the shiny bits that an iron did as well. So, yeah, interesting. Plan for gradual introduction to budgeting. Again, yourself can do that. School and the SEM team can also help with that, and there'll be plans and things like that, and little courses that they can go on. The bit I've missed out there, because my eyes weren't following what I was talking about, etc., is practice public transport with staff, parents, SEN team. What it's not got on there is that we have a facility from the local council where they actually help you to go on and teach you how to use public transport, where to get on near you, where to get off, what to do if you miss your stop, and all these sort of things. I had the word in my head of what the service is called. Um, it's gone. It nearly came there. So when I blurt out the name later on, it's because it's come back. Because if I keep trying to think about it, I'll forget. But we do have an area where we will come. Independent travel. Thank you. Independent travel is the name of the service that is provided. So when we're in secondary school and we're looking to go into sixth form, have more independence, or go to college and that, we need to start using transport ourselves. Independent travel is the way that we're going to look at getting the confidence to use the bus. And if we don't get the confidence, at least we've tried it. There's no harm in trying, and in putting all of these things into place. And so all of that information from these places will be invaluable. Family support, current support, weekly family counselling sessions, and respite care every 3 months. Future needs, ensuring continuity of respite care and link the family with adult social care resources. So I'm guessing that's if this is already in place. Confirm transition arrangements for respite care, local authority, age 17. Provide information about parent care support, social workers from year 10 and 11. Respite is out there. It is available. Getting it is a completely different matter. I don't know the answer because in some cases you don't meet the criteria, and it's going to looking for what respite is out there. What are the thresholds that we have to meet to get respite, and then what are the processes in order to do that? And let's start talking as much as possible as to who's done it, what did they have to do, and everything else. And it's something I know very little of. I never got respite. My son just wasn't in a space where I could have put them in respite and felt comfortable because of his needs at that time. So I never actually went down the respite route, but it's something I think I should explore more. And if not, get somebody on who does know the respite system and do a workshop on that, because I think that's really underused. And because we don't understand it, we don't push it enough. And also, it's in high demand and it's not always right for our children. So respite is a difficult one, but one we need to know about. So the regular review, the regular review timeline, the transition plan will be reviewed at each annual review meeting. So if we could start at age 13, so year 9, we've got year 10, year 11, so there's 2 years. Then we're going to sixth form, there's 3 years, or colleges. And it would cover probably 2 years in sixth form and colleges. So there, we've got your 4, 5 years that we're going to have an annual review before we completely transition over into adulthood. So there's enough time to get this in place. The reason we don't have enough time is because nobody makes us aware of it. So now we're aware of it, we can do something about it. And if you're in year 10 and you haven't started, start now. Don't worry, you haven't really missed too much as long as you can get on it and get people doing what they need to do ASAP. So as it says here, this is an example of a clear structured transition plan. It defines goals, outlines responsibilities, and provides deadlines to ensure accountability. So please use this to sort of say, how can this work for my child, and where do we need to do it? So take it with you. If you need to go in and see anybody about this with your caseworker and show them this piece of paper. This is accurate. I have checked before providing this for you. And it's, to me, I wish I knew this when we were in year 9. It would have made my life and my children, or my son's life, much easier. For my daughter, because I did know about it, we did do this, and we did have things in place. And although she did have the struggles, and in the pilgrim school, we still did all of this planning, and making sure that we went to the college and got the college on board and met the right people and everything else. So her transition into adulthood was a lot smoother than my son's, only because I knew about this. So yeah, let's hope this has been helpful to you. And I shall unshare this. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you um, at the next one that we do. Thank you very much. Bye bye.